What up, man? It's your big brother K-Rino. Question: when a child goes astray, who's at fault? When a child goes astray, who's at fault? A lot of different answers can come out of this question, but it was just something I was thinking about because you see different ways that this plays out. You have situations where children grow up in households that are so full of turmoil, so full of abuse, some that are so full of poverty and just lack of resources that it pushes a child to get outside of character and decide they want to go out in the streets and make a way for themselves. Or the household may have been abusive, like I said, and it drives the child into other forms of behavior. Um, Sometimes the parents are not ready to bring a child in the world. They may have been young and just a negligent situation, and it puts pressure and strain on the child. So now this child's growing up in a household where he's stressing out like he grown or like she's grown. So those are different scenarios, and but there's also situations where a child can have seemingly the perfect life, two parent household. They're given all of the benefits of a good childhood. They going to good schools and never missing a meal. They're being allowed to participate in all of the activities, whatever things that they have in their heart that they want to do, the parent is able to do for them. Any of the name brand clothes and things of that nature, they get all that. And somehow, some of them still end up going left. So who's at fault in that situation? See, you have so many twists and turns to this thing that it may not be just one answer. Sometimes children are sheltered by parents who are trying to do the right thing. They know how messed up the world is, and they just want to, they do everything in their power to keep their child away from this life or that life or a life that they may have experienced. Because a lot of people are like, man, look, I had it hard. I grew up in this neighborhood, this environment. I don't want my child to have to go through the things I went through. And then somehow they still end up getting on drugs. They still end up, because of maybe the curiosity of it, or just maybe the sheltering and the strict nature in which a parent raised them up, just made them one day decide they wanted to bust loose and see what all the hype was about. Be listening to music and certain songs. I want to see what the hype is about. And I don't knock a parent for being what they call strict. You know, I don't knock that, because in this day and age you have to lay the hammer down to a degree, but at the same time find a balance where you allow your child to not be so oblivious to what life really is. You can't play that game. 'Cause sooner or later, if you try to play this game where you act like the world is so great and you just keeping your hand over their eyes all the time, too much technology, they're gonna find out. They're gonna see things that you think they're not seeing, and they're going to be exposed to things that you have broke your back trying to shelter them from. It's just gonna happen. The key is to explain to them what's what, why this is the way it is, and why they shouldn't go down those roads. It's a scripture that says you teach a child in the way that he or she should go, and when they're older they won't depart from it. So I kind of stand on the belief of that, because if you implement certain principles as early as you can, this is just my opinion. You implement certain principles as early as you can, then you just hope and pray that at some point, no matter what they go through, going to jail, getting on dope, out in these streets, whatever the case might be, you hope at some point those things, those seeds that you planted in them will activate and they'll turn it around before it's too late. And we see scenarios like that all the time. So everything I'm saying just points to the fact that it's no guarantees. There's no guarantees. But on the same token, that does not mean that you should stop doing the best you can. We always want to see people do better than what we have been able to do. A lot of parents want to see their children be better, but it's a lot of parents that's envious of their own children. Straight up. They see gifts being manifested and talents being manifested in their children at an early age, and they become resentful because they may feel like they wasted and squandered off their life and their opportunities. Now, instead of looking at the child and saying, okay, this is an opportunity for me to not necessarily live through my child, I guess you can in a way, but to let him manifest his greatness, and that will still be a reflection of you. But some parents are actually straight up jealous and envious of their own children, and they muzzle the child's gifts because of that, or they destroy the child's self-esteem. Like, oh, you think you are, you ain't this, you ain't that, you ain't nobody, you ain't gonna be this, you ain't gonna be that. And some children are destroyed by that, but others use it as motivation. And you see some get out the house at 15, 16 years old, get their own job. I got to get away. So when a child turns out and goes astray, who's to blame? Who's to blame? How does that play itself out? Or what percentage? How are the percentages divvied up? Because it may not just be one person or parent or an entity that's 100% at fault. And what responsibility does the child have? Because if you've been given all the tools, you've been raised up in a godly household, you've been given the best education opportunities, and you know better, and you still trick it off, everybody got a part to play in the blame game. So y'all tell me what y'all think, man. Anything I forgot, anything I missed, feel free to drop it down in the comments section, man. It's your big brother K-Rino. I'll hit y'all with another one real soon. Peace.